Good evening, everybody. Rev.Dave Roach here again, uploading my next sermon in my YouTube series. And this is kind of going to go along with a series I did last fall regarding witchcraft and the occult. It occurred to me as I was perusing the book of Genesis, the first few chapters. God was in the process of creating the world that we know it. It says that he put two great lights in the sky, one to rule the day and one to rule the night. That one that he put to rule the night, of course, is the moon. He called it the lesser light. And this is a sermon that I have preached many times before. However, something brought it back to my mind today, something that I've been experiencing on a personal level, about how that lesser light draws you. Now, if you think about the moon, for example, that lesser light, you think about the moon's natural abilities. The moon has a tremendous pull on the earth. I mean, it controls something as vast as the ocean. The lunar cycles affects the very tides of the ocean. It pushes and it pulls. And it has a tremendous force upon the earth. And it is exactly that pulling force that I wanted to talk to you about tonight. As that is what darkness does. And it has done this through all eternity. It is a tremendous drawing power to it. When you think about the world and all the evils that are out there, these things are synonymous with the dark, with the night. And it is during those hours when the moon, if you will, is ruling, that pulling power is ruling the dark. Then all the evils that are synonymous with man and things that you can think of have a tendency to be more prevalent during the hours of darkness. Why is that? Well, it's simply because that the dark is able to conceal things. So it's easier, if you will, to do your dirt when it's not in the open daylight where people can see what you're doing. The darkness gives you a covering, if you will, that you can perpetrate your works of darkness. Not to mention that, but back to the original point of the moon's pulling power, the drawing power of that lesser light. It has a tendency to pull, it has a tendency to draw, if you will, to draw people, just like it has an effect upon the earth in a very spiritual sense. That lesser light, the lesser light has a tendency to draw and pull people to it. And it's funny that one of the words for light in the Bible can be translated knowledge. So very literally, when God created the earth as he did, he created a greater light, which would be the sun, and a lesser light to be the moon. But those words can be interchanged with knowledge. So there's a greater knowledge and there's a lesser knowledge. Lesser in the sense that it's not as powerful as one. Now, all knowledge is power. The more of it you amass in life, the more power you will have in one way or another. For example, just by simply you living life. Here at me at 38, had I had the knowledge that I have now at 28 or 18, and I had the knowledge I have now, I would have done things differently maybe in my life. But simply, now I have the knowledge that I didn't have then. So it is power. And it gives you power to do all manner of things. Knowledge. It's exactly that lesser knowledge or lesser light that I wanted to talk to you about. It seems like the whole world is enthralled with it. That is the drawing nature of it. You see it in Hollywood and in our music industry, promoting satanic, if you will, evil, wicked devices or lifestyles. Seems like you turn the radio on every day and you'll hear somebody talk songs propagating violence, greed, lust, all the things that are man's vices. You see it in Hollywood: sex, drugs, sorcery, out and out sorcery. And what is it about it that draws people to it? It is the mystery behind it. Thinking that they're going to, by getting involved in these things or these secret organizations, that they're going to unlock some kind of mystic knowledge and power. And they're right. There is a power there. Now, there are those Christians that will tell you that the devil is under your feet and that you have the victory, and all those things are true when it relates to Jesus, but not you. You see, you're not going to get the victory over Satan on your own. The fact of business is that you have no power over him whatsoever, except God and his Son have granted you that power. Because they are the greater light. They are the greater knowledge, you see. For example, you may have been in these lifestyles before you got saved. And then you came to the saving grace and saving knowledge of Jesus Christ. And now that lifestyle, the knowledge of it, has displaced the knowledge of the dark, simply because it is a greater light. Jesus even made it clear. He said, if the light that be in you is darkness, how great is the darkness? In other words, that word, if the knowledge that's in you be dark, how great is the darkness? It's a powerful, powerful thing to meditate on. One of the alluring parts of the dark, not only is the mystery behind it, the unknown. People have always fascinated with the unknown. It's man's quest for that knowledge that has always got him into trouble, even in the Garden of Eden. What was that tree in the midst of the garden? There was one, the tree of life, and the tree of the knowledge of both good and evil. And it wasn't until man got too nosy and partaked of that tree that he even knew that evil existed. Even though it existed, it was just kept at bay by his obedience to God. But once he partook of that tree, now evil was turned loose. It was loosed. That knowledge that he sought for, he got it. It was drawing men then and is still drawing men now. So the mystery behind that knowledge is one of the pulling factors. Another one of the pulling factors is it seems that as you look around the world, we see that the wicked, or what we would perceive to be wicked and the ungodly, always seem to have the best things in life. They seem like they have all the money, all the power, all the fame, all the glory. It seems that way. And it seems like they get it that fast, never having to work for it, never having to labor for it. They get all these things bequeathed to them, given to them, by submitting themselves to this pulling power of that lesser light. And it's true, they get it. That is one of the other alluring parts of the lesser light is the speed in which it travels, the speed in which you can become engrossed in the darkness. To whereas in the Christian world, a Christian life, it takes study and it takes careful prayer and meditation to obtain the wisdom, obtain the power, the knowledge, if you will. Now, God will pour it out into you liberally. He says that if any man asks of wisdom, I will give it to you liberally. But there's still a process of time to achieve things that are lasting. To have a solid foundation, it requires effort and labor. In the dark side, as one famous movie said, the Emperor in Star Wars, he said that you don't know the power of the dark side of the Force. And true enough, most don't. Because it is a tremendous power. And it can be given to you so quickly. And this whole generation is I call them the microwave generation. They want what they want, and they want it right now. And when something comes along that says, no, you don't have to wait, you don't have to labor for it, it's just going to be granted to you quickly, then they jump on it. Because we've raised a generation of people that have no desire to labor, have no desire to work, to attain anything. Just however I can get it the fastest and get it done the quickest. So you reach a generation of people and you promote and you show them this avenue, this lesser light, and it's promising X, Y, and Z, and you see the evidence of it delivered in all of the facets of our lives, and that is the appeal. And so they fall into that trap. The problem is that at the end of that road is destruction. But you're not worried about that destruction in the beginning because all you see is the power. But trust and believe, brothers and sisters, that power corrupts. And absolute power corrupts absolutely. Oh yes, these occultists and these worshipers of Satan and the dark arts, all that is very real. And we as Christians need to once again remember that this name it, claim it bunch the church has lost power because of it, because we refuse to acknowledge that this other power even exists. We've turned a blind eye to it, and it has gained strength. And it is pulling and drawing people to it every day. So, I just wanted to put you in mind of that, brothers and sisters, of those two great lights. The lesser and the greater, and the pulling power that it possesses. Until the next time, God keep you and bless you. Love you in the Lord.